Yeah, you got all these days like Christmas Day, Boxing Day, Easter, Halloween. Then you got your birthdays as well, which is sort of engraved in every year that goes by.
Okay.
Even if you don't want it,
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't agree with Christmas.
Mm.
This has been going on for centuries, I think, all this, you know, sort of these celebrations, but they've become more sort of like
Ingrained.
yeah, where like every year everyone's sort of thinking about Christmas, you know, and having a little holiday off work and all this, you know, and it's all sort of engraved. And I just wish that things changed for some reason, you know. I just don't understand why I can understand that man sort of after a while can see the seasons of the year,
Yeah.
and they worked out time
Yeah.
to it. They put it, you know, they gradually worked out after sort of maybe 10 winters in a row that there's some sort of pattern.
Yeah.
If you sort of mean.
It's through observation.
Yeah, you know, you will start realise, you know, I'm starting to realise as I'm getting older now, you know, I'm starting to recognise the seasons a lot more in the years, if you sort of mean, and then you can count them in kind of way each year, and you can sort of see it, and you can see how someone must have sort of made it essential, really, that this is the time.
Yeah.
It's like here at the moment, it's 20 past 8 in the evening, and that's going to be the same time all over Britain right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We all live in different time zones, you know, depending where you are.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got to take, you know, like if you're getting an airplane somewhere, you got to change your time zone and all this kind of stuff.
And most of it is just it's to do with the sun.
Oh yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, to do
the sun, and you know it's times that, you know, depending on where you are on the equator or on, you know, and you know that's what it depends on, essentially, where you are on the equator, you know, what country you live in and where your country's located and how the sun and everything else operates, you know, what time period the sun operates from in your country. Because like Australia, let's say for example, I think they're almost 24, almost a day ahead of us. Yeah,
no,
in the UK. Is it that long?
No.
Or 12 hours?
Only like
12 hours?
I think they're. I know Dallas is 6 hours.
But Australia, I think it's like 12 hours ahead or something like
possible, that. But yeah.
So it's like they're almost like their day is almost coming to an end when ours is kind of starting, in a way, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's almost evening for them by the time when our early morning sun's probably coming up and rising. So yeah. But
the sun is good for your mental health.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Great point.
I mean, the more sunnier it is, the more we can see. You think about it. I mean, when it's getting dark at night time in the evening, you can't see so much. It's darker, doesn't it? You know, and during the day at 12 o'clock when the sun's right out, you can see more colours.
Yeah.
Usually, unless it's raining or something.
The thing is that we're electrical beings and the sun is electric, so you know that's why they talk about vitamin D, and obviously like we talked about previous as well, you don't only get you get predominantly vitamin D, large, you know, if you live in a place where you get a lot of sun, you get a lot of vitamin D from the sun, but you can also get other vitamins and nutrients from the sun as well. And the reason that is that we are, like I said just now, we are electrical beings and the sun is electrical and the earth is magnetic, so it's, you know, that's why the sun is so good for us. You know, the sun is almost an essential component for life. Well, as we know, the sun sustains all life, but I'm talking about just for our general health as human beings, as people. It's so good for you.
You can imagine if there's no sun tomorrow, we wouldn't be able to see. You know, we wouldn't be able to see any more memories. You sort of mean, or wouldn't see another parrot ever again. You with me?
Yeah.
Or anything, you know. So it's sort of like it kind of kills our memories. It kills our eyes, if you sort of mean. Our eyes become completely useless without the sun. You know, so I feel like the sun is really good for your mental health.
Yeah.
And it's no good sort of staying in a sort of dark cave day after day, or even in a room.
Yeah.
in the same room day after day after day, you know, because I feel like you will slowly, it's just not good for your mental health.
It's not.
You need to
And
get
I think
out.
a lot of people don't realise this too as well. I think there's so many people that spend so much of their time indoors, if you see what I mean, with very little interaction.
Even watching telly all day.
And then exactly, even that, but even that, people don't realise, like you said, like it causes, that's why a lot of people today are suffering with anxiety and having problems with social interaction and communication and being depressed and all these different things. Is a lot of people don't, you know, like you said, don't get out enough. Like, I think as human beings, we need stimulation through conversation, through work. Like, we need routine as human beings to a degree. We need work in our lives of some form. If you see what I
We
mean.
also all need a bit of love.
Yeah.
We all need communication now and again. Some people are so lonely that they don't get nothing.
Yeah.
And I can understand that cracking someone up. So I think it's really good just to get out a bit more and adventure to new places if possible. I mean, that's what I want to do in the future. Actually, I want to just shoot off. Even if I don't want to do it, I'm going to go. If you sort of mean, you got to make. So I feel like you got to make yourself do things in this life if you want to get somewhere, or make yourself do things that you don't want to do. To achieve something in life or achieve more in life. It's no good, like I say, staying in one spot really. You're not really expanding, are you, in any way? I feel. So I feel like, I mean, the last 15 years it's been a very, very difficult time for me. Especially the first few years when my wife turned around and said, I don't love you anymore, you know, whatever. And then the next minute I was out of my home, which I loved. Yeah. And children I loved, and I even loved her. You know what I mean? So it's quite a hard thing to punch in a kind of way. And like the first year was really hard and difficult, even though I was very lucky. I met this guy, as I've said before, gave me his boat, beautiful boat in London to live on for a year and a quarter rent free. I felt like I was the luckiest man on earth to meet this guy. Yeah,
happened at the right time.
Yeah, and it sort of helped me really get where I am today. I feel.
But based on, not to go too much into detail, but based on everything that you've ever told me, it seems that everything, even though obviously you went through a traumatic experience and you went through a lot that came along with that, I felt, based on everything you've told me, it's almost like it was supposed to happen though, because if you really sit and analyse all the details of everything that transpired afterwards, how things like that, where you got to be able, you know, you were able to stay on his boat, you know, you met a multi-millionaire who's got a boat and told you, okay, go and live on my houseboat, you know what I mean, and look after it, and then, you know, and whatever else, it's like, and everything else that happened after that, it's like, it was supposed to kind of happen, you know, it was, you know,
I feel like sometimes, I know you don't think it at the time, but sometimes you feel like, because I felt like, why is this happening to me? You know, because I couldn't believe it in a kind of way. I thought everything was going perfect with me. Not perfect, you know, I knew that we were having a few arguments here and there.
Yeah.
But I thought we really got on.
Yeah.
We had a beautiful house together. I felt like we were a magical couple. And actually a lot of people around me did at the time, do you know what I mean?
Well, the same thing.
But next minute I lost everything, you know, and it was very, it's still shocking to me today to think about it in a funny way, but you know, like sometimes I feel like you have these really big lessons in life and they teach you how to be a better person.
Yeah.
And I just feel like in a kind of way, even though I didn't like it at the time, I feel like blessed in a way that it's happened to me, because I'm quite happy that I'm not with that girl anymore. It took me a long time to get over her, but I feel like you say, it's meant to be. It's made me a stronger, better person.
Yeah.
I enjoy my independence now.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy being lonely. Where I'm one of these people that did have children jumping on me, and I was taking children to school, I was playing games or telling stories to my children. I've had all these experiences, and I've had a number of girlfriends in my past, and I've had a number of aunties loving me or uncles in the past. But now it's not to be so much, you know, it's kind of like a memory. But at least I'm not a person that had nothing in my past, if you sort of.
At least you had experiences.
At least I, you know, had someone, or I did have children, or, you know, some people have not had any children and they do want children.
Yeah.
You know, they've always wanted children, but they can't have them. They just have to sort of hope that they can have someone else's.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of different mental health problems out there today.
That's true.
In a very complex, difficult world. Like, so I wish it changed, you know, like every day I've got to sort of think about everyone's birthday coming up, everyone I know, and I just don't think really it's natural what we're living in. I think it's kind of like, I can't explain it. Like, I don't like marriage. It was an invention and an idea.
Yeah.
Of putting two people together or whatever and making money out of them, I think.
Yeah.
People used to have spiritual marriages before marriage.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Two people used to join. People. All marriages essentially is people, like two people, or if it's a monogamous marriage, of course, two people. You know, then it's just two people basically committing their lives to each other, aren't they? Saying that we, you know, love each other or whatever the case may be, and we have decided between us that we want to spend our lives together. You don't need to legally, in theory, you don't really need to legally do that, do you? If you see what I mean, you and your partner, you and your woman, you know what I mean, you and your missus could say to each other, listen, you know, we want to spend our lives together, you know, we don't have to go down, you know. I think that's what a lot of people are doing today too. A lot of people are saying, listen, we don't have to go through the whole legal thing. We want to be with each other, and we want to spend our lives with each other, and that's it. We don't have to put a title on it, if you see what I mean. I think a lot of people, you know, like you said earlier, a lot of the younger generation are doing that. They're not so interested in the whole idea of marriage, you know. But yeah, you know, it's not an easy world, as we all know. That it's not an easy world that we live in today. You know, there's a lot of hardship, a lot of trials, a lot of tribulation for a lot of people. With inflation, the way the world is today, with, you know, how, you know, economies are collapsing in different places globally. There's a lot of people struggling and basically just struggling to survive, essentially, struggling to live day by day. You know, in different countries, you know, across the world, and I think that's what a lot of it is, you know, just the whole, just trying to survive. The survival mindset and mentality can lead to mental health, because it's like, you're just, you know, you literally, every day is a struggle, every day is, you know, there's so many people out there living that don't know where the next meal's coming from, you know, where, you know, it's not easy. That's why I think today more so than ever, I think, you know, the suicide rates are higher than they used to be.
Yeah, I think the truth is unhappiness. Okay, and the more unhappy you are, the more likely mentally ill you're going to be. Or I feel unhappiness is a real mental health problem. You know, I feel. You know, people should be happy. In this world, you know, but we're not, you know, because I like I say, I don't think everyone should be loved as a child, but I don't feel like everybody is being loved in this world as a child somehow. Some are, but not all, you see. And I feel like it just leaves a lot of people left behind.
Yeah.
And they don't feel like they belong in this world, or you know, like as I say, the price of living goes up, so that makes people more unhappier. And there is a quote from Rebecca, I can't remember her surname, Brecken or something, Brecken, or something like that.
Yeah.
She says the more unhappy people get, the more dangerous they will get. That's the truth of the matter. Or even more hungry a person gets, the more dangerous they will get. Anyone will steal if they get hungry. That's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
So I don't understand, you know, like it says it's a sin to steal, but is it a sin to sell?
Yeah.
Is that the truth? Is it a sin to sell? I don't know, do you know what I mean? I just think there's something wrong about this world, and it always has been for centuries. Why have we always been selling? Like there's some business people selling to the poor all the time, trying to make money.
Well, I think trade has always existed because of, it's just, obviously prior to money, you had a trade, you had a barter system,
Yeah.
you know?
I can understand
which was essentially, you know, I've got corn, I've got wheat, I've got this person's got salt, and spices and paprika and whatever else, like, you know? And it was just a form, that's all it was, that's all it's essentially. Money, the whole idea of money just came essentially from the barter system. It was coming up with a way in which people could use, you know, something that was once upon a time backed by gold or backed by, you know, silver at the time, or, you know, at different times, to pay for their goods, essentially, you know. Yeah.
I just think like today in this modern world, there's a lot of, you know, I think we're just living in very strange times at the moment. And I just feel like there's more mental health problems than people can imagine out there.
Yeah. And I think not only that, but I think today we have a deeper level of understanding, not only from a scientific and medical perspective, but I think more people out there, just the average human being, is becoming more enlightened and more aware and more knowledgeable about the topic and the umbrella topic of mental health, if you see what I mean, you know. There's more awareness of it today, people are talking about it more, there's less stigma around it, because before, back in the day, if you said, oh, you feel depressed, or you feel this, people would say, oh, that person's crazy, he's crazy. That's how it was, especially, I don't know about you, but like growing up in the Caribbean and stuff like that, anytime you ever heard someone talk about being depressed or it's having anxiety or that type of shit, people used to say, oh, you need to toughen up, if you see what I mean. That's how that used to be the response growing up 20 years ago. You see what I mean? It was, you better get your shit together, you know what I mean? You haven't got time to be depressed, you know what I mean? Life's hard enough as it is, you better get, but today, we're living in a world where people are more, like I said, more aware and more understanding that these things do exist, if you see what I mean. There are people, especially like, okay, you've got loads of charities today that are spreading mental health awareness, and there's obviously different days throughout the year where you have different things, where you have like a mental health awareness day, and all these different things that help, like even, okay, I used to work with people with dementia. I used to work in a place, in a healthcare institution where there was people with dementia, let's say for example, and once a week there used to be like a charity organisation that used to come in and provide service for the people, with Alzheimer's, like the Alzheimer's Society, trying to understand people with Alzheimer's and trying to help them, if you see what I mean.
I think sometimes these things have evolved a little bit though.
Yeah.
With me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think like for instance, like I've said it before.
Yeah.
Today we live in a very noisy world.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I mean, even today I've heard motorbikes go past and all kinds of noisy things. Alright. Humans are really noisy. They're more noisy than the birds. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But we're very noisy. Noise pollution. We don't realise it, but it affects our mental health.
Yeah.
And as I say, sort of like, say 200 years ago, people it used to be a quiet world. But I don't think there are so many mental health hospitals about. I think what I'm trying to say
life was more simpler.
This life today is a very dangerous world.
Very fast-paced life.
Very fast.
Fast-paced.
Every child's got to watch themselves crossing the road just in case they get run over or something, We're living in a very extremely dangerous world, much more dangerous than it was before cars were around and all this, do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Today this is quite a craze. Even people, right, when they're behind the wheel, right, sometimes they're driving really as fast as they can down the road, right? I don't know how fast. I hear them go right, really fast. I think, goodness me, and this is in the dark sometimes, you know. Sometimes I'm laying in bed and I can hear them really whizzing past really fast. I was thinking, God, I hope they're not running over anything, do you know what I mean? You know, or, you know, I don't know how they can go fast like that. But people will go crazy once they're behind the wheel. They're like madmen or mad people. I can't explain it. It changes, you know, some people haven't got even any compassion. They really haven't, you know, they haven't got no compassion about nothing out there. And it's made them into some sort of crazy animal, if you ask me. You know, and that's why I feel like there's a lot of mental health problems out there, because even people that are driving around, you know, I do, you know, like I say, I'm a person that never wanted to get a car or risk anyone else's life or myself, alright, yeah? And it makes me mentally ill that I'm around a lot of people that haven't got that attitude.
Yeah.
They've lost that attitude, you know, or they've lost their compassion, you know. I'm sorry that, you know, you might be getting upset by what I'm saying here, some people, but I'm speaking the truth. We're living in a very dangerous world today. And man has even changed because I think you know, it's not their fault that they got to drive. They're driven that way in this world because they've got to earn a living. And the best way to earn a living in this world is join everyone else and get a car, if you sort of mean. And I'll be able to earn a good living and everything, you know. But at the same time, we're killing thousands and millions of insects every day. You know, it's not worth taking your kids to the forest anymore, right, to see all the animals, because they're not there anymore. You know, we run them all over. You know, there's no hedgehogs about, or foxes, or not many birds around. You know, we are killing them all every day. You know, like I say, car injuries are more than drug injuries. You know, car injuries cause more deaths than anything else, and it kills 33 million birds a year. Cars do car driving. But man, we love them, don't we? We love cars.
Yeah.
You know, and I can understand why people love them. You know, so I'm not putting people down. I can understand the joys of driving. You know, but at the end of the world, that's why I feel like the world is absolutely gone crazy. And like I say, we were talking last week about drinking alcohol and all that.
Yeah.
Where some people, even young people today, they get a car quite early and then they'll, you know, go out for a night out party and next minute they're in prison.
Yeah.
They got to pay a lot of money or whatever, you know.
Not only that, but like people who abuse alcohol and certain substances as well, certain illegal substances and other things as well, that can lead to serious mental health problems and implications as well.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? You see people that are, you know, alcoholics or, you know, drug addicts, completely addicted to, you know, strong, illicit, controlled substances. These people usually end up in mental health conditions, if you see what I mean, and have problems. You know, sometimes they end up having, you know, paranoid schizophrenia. All these different types of things that are related towards, you know, drug use, if you see what I mean, of some kind, you know. So yeah, it's you know,
Well, it's like
there's lots of contributing factors in today's society, even diet and food. If you think about it, like you said, a lot of these diseases and other things didn't exist or weren't around 100 years ago. If you think about it, how much, you know, our diet has changed and other things have changed over the last 100 years, and the foods that people consume today, all the foods that people consume, you know, and drinks and alcohol and everything else that people consume, a lot of these things are not the greatest things for our bodies or for our minds either. No. Because our gut, a lot of people don't realise this, but our gut, is directly connected to our minds, to our brain, if you see what I mean. So essentially what you put into your body has an effect on the way you think, the way you act and everything else, because, you know, what you consume, but like they say, you are what you eat. So yeah, it does impact, you know, certain foods and certain other things that you might want to like enjoy consuming or things like that can potentially have an impact on your mental health and the way you think, the way you act, the way you speak, you know.
Well, there's a lot of junk out there, really, don't they? Like, let's face it, all these stuff they put in, you know, all these foods and whatever. We don't, you know, like, it's crazy. You can see why people are going crazy in a kind of way when they're selling stuff, really. I mean, you got to just imagine, say, 2 islands, right? 2 big islands.
Yeah.
One had loads of pubs on it, and allowed drugs and whatever, and the other one didn't. And I can guarantee you, in a couple of 100 years' time, this would be corrupted with people, with prostitution and all sorts, and this one would be quite decent, if you see what I mean. This island be, as long as they don't put a boat to one another, you know.
Yeah.
If you sort of mean, you know, and it's just silly, really, that I don't understand it sometimes. It makes me scratch my head, you know. I mean, I used to drink, and I enjoy drinking now.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't understand why they sell it like they do, or so many brands, or I don't know. It confuses me, because I don't think it does anyone good having a good drink every, you know, too much. I think, like, in moderation, it's all about moderation, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. With everything.
But that's me personally. It drives me crazy that I'm living amongst a lot of people that are not as compassionate as me anymore. It hurts me. You know, I just wish that we lived in a world with not so many cars. You know,
the trouble
I
is,
can understand it, you know, because you know, I can understand the importance of cars, but I can also understand all the mental health it causes to people as well.
road rage and other things that
Not
happen.
just that, you know, you might have a family just driving along, coming home, and they get hit by a drunk driver.
Yeah.
You know, and that really devastates the whole family.
Oh, of
the
course.
family might
Yeah.
be quite a big family.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it just causes so many complicated problems, which I think they're hiding. You know, it's one reason why I feel like we've got ambulances on the road, really, and police.
Yeah.
Really, because crashes can be quite devastating.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I wouldn't want to be an ambulance person or anything to go up to a crash and pull the dead body out, and it's got the head hanging off or something and things like that, because that's the truth of it all out there. They have to go to these scenes, and basically they quickly clear up the mess, get rid of it and wipe up the blood, whatever, and then go away.
But think about all the people.
This happens every day.
Think about all the people that suffer PTSD and other mental health related things due to their job.
Yeah.
Due to their occupation, like you were just saying. Maybe a fireman, maybe a police officer.
Yeah, they've got to go home and think about it.
Maybe
an
ambulance, a paramedic, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Or, you know, a first responder, first aider.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, these people too also, I think sometimes people forget too, these people also people, and through the stuff that they witness and they endure through their, not only in life, but due to their occupation, they then suffer sometimes with their mental health, you know.
Definitely.
It's like, obviously, we're talking like worst case scenario here, but imagine you're one of these, imagine you're a fireman.